What is up, everybody? Welcome back to High School Never Ends, a Pop Punk Dad podcast. I am Wingman Steve.
And I'm Chris183, and wow, are you in for a treat? You are back with us, not just for another episode of High School Never Ends, because that should be good on its own right, but you're back with us for yet another episode in our brand new miniseries for this year, new from 2024. That's right. We wanted to go back and check out what was new from just last year, 2024, and talk about it with all of you guys out there. So today, we're going to talk about a band that we actually really enjoyed last time we discussed them. And Wingman Steve will tell you this has been one of his favorite bands ever since we kind of introduced them into his head, which I love. But the band is Neck Deep. And I'll tell you what, the name of the album, Neck Deep as well.
Self-titled. It's titular.
I love it. But before we get into that, Steve, I feel like we have some patrons out there we want to shout out.
We do. We have one of them joining us here for this episode. We'll get to him in a second. We have Nick J, Sam, Jason C, Steve C, Ashley, and the one and only PunkishDad, who has been saying ever since we did the last Neck Deep record, which, Chris, you're right. I fell in love with that album. I got obsessed with it. I got some Neck Deep merch for Christmas from my wife. And since the moment we released that episode, or shortly thereafter, PunkishDad's been like, guys, you need to listen to the new album. Lad, we listened to it, and we got to hear your thoughts. Thank you for coming back on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. To your point, I've kind of been losing my damn mind over it all year long and waiting to talk to somebody about it. So I'm excited to get into it here.
Well, thank you for always being, a mainstay on our Discord server. So we have a lot of chatter there. But the problem with the Discord server is when you're like, hey, listen to this album, but nobody else actually did or has anything to say, then it just gets lost in the text and the shuffle until it's time. We did a little drafty thing where we decided the albums that we were going to do. And when this one was on the list, I said, I got to choose. I think this was my first choice because, yeah, I didn't listen to it really last year. I've complained that it's hard to listen to new music because, we do a show every week and, we like to be prepared. So we're always listening to the thing that we're going to talk about. So it's hard to really shoehorn in new music. At least it is for me. But damn, I got so into Life's Not Out to Get You that I was itching to talk some Neck Deep. And just anybody who followed on Instagram, my wife got me this shirt, right? This hoodie, and there's a red door on the front of it. And on the back, it says Neck Deep's December. And it says, there's a quote there, I'm the last thing you'll remember. And it was missing 2 letters. So it was like, I'm the last thing you remember. And I was like, is this an error? Is this some quirky Welsh humor, an inside joke? And just to let everybody know, I got another package when I got home from my parents' house, and they must have fixed it. So I got the real one. I have an extra one now with 2 missing letters, so I could put that on eBay, or maybe we can raffle it off. But I know everyone was really worried about me, so I just want everybody to know it's okay.
It's okay. That's cool, though. Actually, I probably would tell you to hold on to it because it's a pretty unique piece. But that's just me.
I threw it in the back of my car because as dads, you guys know, sometimes you're out somewhere and a kid is cold and, I like to have an extra hoodie or something, just hoodie/blanket or whatever in the car. So that's going to be my go-to for that.
Or you can come up with some kind of really interesting story about how you acquired it and how it's a one of a kind and how you actually went to Welshland and got
to Welsh. I went to Welsh.
Why am I blanking on Welsh? Hold on, just give me a minute because I know this is silly.
It's a marine mammal as well.
Myself. So we're not talking Norway. We're talking Holland is Welsh, correct?
And that would be Dutch.
It's the same. It's 6 of one, half dozen. Welsh.
Quite different. It's a marine mammal, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, whale?
Plural.
Whales.
There you go. Yes.
Why couldn't I remember that? I haven't talked about whales in a long time.
It's a New Year's hangover, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. So anyway, whales it is.
I was also thinking my wife has a Cricut machine. That's that machine that makes stickers that you can make t-shirts and stuff. I was like, maybe we should just find a font that's similar and I can press the letters on, but I don't know. It's going to live in its erroneous ways. I got another one that said, it was a T-shirt that said "Neck Deep Generic Pop Punk." And lad, do you think that this album is generic pop punk?
I can see where people might think that. They kind of had, I think they really are just riffing on one review that they had many years ago about an album that they did, quite some time ago. But I mean, I have a lot of thoughts. I don't want to spoil too much before we get into it, but I don't think it's generic. I think they've really settled into their sound, and they're sounding as good as they ever have personally. But I don't know. I think really that's a clever merch idea that they are riffing off of that. And I'm kind of jealous that you have one, actually.
It was limited edition holiday merch. That's why when it came, errored, I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get this fixed. They don't make it anymore. I don't know if you can reach out to the merch store or whatever. But again, they fixed it right away. I do think that this is generic pop punk. I think that it's generic, but they put their own grit on it. And I didn't realize that they were kind of leaning into a shitty review. I thought they were kind of just jiving on themselves because they're such fans of pop punk. These guys are huge Blink fans. They're huge Green Day, Newfound Glory fans. We've all seen that AP collaboration little medley video thing. So we know that they love all this shit. So I just kind of figured like it can be generic pop punk, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but
ahead.
that's what I seem to remember, that they were leaning into that criticism that they had. But I could be wrong.
What's the last thing he remembers? Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I do agree. I agree with you. I think, to me, I had a hard time speaking to some of these songs because it did seem a little bit more generic than maybe some of the other content that they've been able to produce. So, I don't know. I don't know if I can put my finger on exactly why I feel that way, but it just felt like it wasn't a lot of the same, but it just felt like run of the mill pop punk that you really couldn't talk about. You could just listen to and just kind of enjoy. But you're right. Like, it doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. It just means that it is what it is. It is a little bit more generic than, doesn't have anything unique in a lot of ways. Like, they do unique things in some of the songs, but maybe not the majority of them. So as Lad said, we'll talk about it when we get into the songs themselves. But I got that feeling too, listening to the album.
Yeah, so I know that Chris and I didn't really know Neck Deep, like back in the day. And by back in the day, the band is only, like their first album came out 2014. So they're essentially about 11 years old, or 10, 11 years old at this point. Lad, we're talking to you about this. You listened to this album after it first came out. Are you a big Neck Deep fan, or when did you just get into them because we did the episode? What was it?
That's a good question. So I've known of Neck Deep since they first came out. My friend Derek sent me a link to say, hey, check this band out. And honestly, I've always been kind of lukewarm on them. Like, there were a few tracks on each album that I liked, but I wouldn't have considered myself a huge fan. In 2020, they put out an album called All Distortions Are Intentional, and I like that one quite a bit more. I had it on repeat quite a bit at the time, but still wouldn't have considered them a favorite until this album hit. And it actually shocked me. I liked it front to back. I put that thing on, and I just want to start it over when I finish. So I was shocked at how much I liked it. I didn't expect to be wowed, but I certainly was.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected, because I think I expected to be wowed, to be honest, because you spoke so highly of it, and I liked Life's Not Out to Get You like so much that I expected to be wowed. And I'm not going to give away any of my thoughts just yet. Chris, everything okay? You look like you're looking for something over there.
Yes, just full transparency. My one screen went dead. I cannot find the cord to charge it. So I am not going to have a screen that I wanted to have.
Do you need, so you can't find the cord? Have we determined it's not here?
I mean, it's literally nowhere. I don't understand how a cord just kind of goes missing when I just had it this morning. It literally has to be here, but I've looked everywhere. This room that I'm in is just, it's basically a tornado hit it, because over the past week or two that I've been off, I've been trying to kind of rearrange and redo some things, but I didn't finish. So it's just a bunch of stuff everywhere. And now I can't find anything.
Sounds like a recipe for a misplaced cord.
Yes. What is that? Is that like a thing?
No, no, no. I'm just saying. Sounds like if you were rearranging and doing all these things, then your chord is probably somewhere where you like put it down for 1 second, but you can't remember.
I literally unplugged it this morning, but then, it's that. And because it's a messy room, I broke my coffee mug. I'm just really mad,
Oh
really
boy.
mad right now.
All right. Well, hopefully, Lad and I can cheer you up. Let's get into Neck Deep, self-titled. I'll give some quick stats if you have anything else you want to say before we get into it. But the album is just about 1 year old. Came out January 19th, 2024. It was put out on Hopeless Records. It was actually produced by Neck Deep's bassist, whose name is Seb Barlow. And I think the only charting I could find was in the UK. Obviously, these guys are a UK band. So it got up to number 2 on the UK independent albums chart and number 11 on the UK albums, just the not independent, like all albums. So it did fairly well over in the UK. I don't know how to necessarily compare that to the US. And that's it. Anything else you guys want to say before we get into the track by track breakdown?
Yeah, just a fun fact. Seb Barlow is the bass player. The singer is Ben Barlow. They're brothers.
I like that. That makes
Barlow
sense.
is Barlow a very Welsh last name?
I wouldn't
Couldn't
know.
tell you.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
There's somebody I work with that has the same last name. I should ask her what her and actually my dentist. Her brother was my dentist for a while. I should ask what their heritage is. I don't know if you're allowed to ask that in a corporate workplace anymore, though.
See, now I don't feel so bad for not knowing Wales because I feel like that kind of evened it out.
What?
Exactly.
Okay. Anything, Chris, on Neck Deep?
Do you find it weird that, and I know I brought this up in previous episodes, but maybe somebody hadn't listened to the episodes where I brought this up, so I'm going to bring it up again. Don't you find it interesting when a singer has a very distinct accent to someone like me, because I don't have the accent that they do, but then when they sing, you can't hear it anymore? Don't you find that interesting?
I've always found that interesting. Yeah, certain singers, you can't hear the accents when they're singing.
Where does it go?
I don't know. Lad, do you know?
I don't know. It tends to be, at least if it's the same language. There are times like, that band Chunk, No Captain Chunk, they're a French band, but when they sing in English, and I can still hear an accent on them. But from one English to another English, I don't know where it goes. That's a good question. You can sometimes hear the Southern drawl in country, for example, but with pop punk and rock, you don't seem to notice it as much.
But then Billy Joe Armstrong sounds like he is British, but he's not.
It's like the Bermuda Triangle of accents.
I don't understand. Figure that out. Figure that out for me, Steve.
We'll think about it. For now, we will all just sit around and be dumbstruck dumbfucks because we have no idea where the accents go.
Aha. Well, that was a great segue, and that is a great intro into the album. We're ready to hit this, right? We're ready to go. Can we get into this?
Go ahead, Chris.
We're ready to go. It's not titular, but it's definitely the de facto entry song or first song that I come to love and enjoy on most albums we talk about, because it seems like for the first songs, they always do the things that I want to hear. They always speed up the tempo. They always make it fun. They always crank up the melody. They always make it interesting to listen to. Generally, it's not too overbearing with the lyrical content. It's not too wordy. It's more simplistic. It gets you into the album. It gets you singing. And I think that they do that here for sure. And they definitely hit you with a dumb fuck right away. I mean, there's no taking that out. Even though on my list here, it is starred out. Spotify does censor that word. So does it do that on the album too? Is it censored out? I don't know.
You mean on a physical media copy?
Yes.
I would think most likely, but I can't say for sure. Most of the time, the major cuss words are going to be starred out.
But I think that it goes no deeper than that. It's just it's a fun, faster paced, tune that gets you into the album that I really enjoyed. So I don't have much more there because I don't know if there was anything that really stuck out to me here that was unique or special or intricate or specific. It was just more about the entirety of the song being all of those things I mentioned that seem to be pretty consistent with first songs. So I'll leave it at that and let you guys fill in the blanks.
Go ahead, Punkish Dad.
Yeah, this one, I love the way they start this album. Really strong start. And when I first put it on, I was thinking, okay, I can get into this. And then when the first chorus hit, it just blew me away. It's everything I want to hear in a banger chorus. And it just makes me want to, roll the windows down, turn it up loud. It's like a summer on the highway kind of a jam. This song actually was my top song on my Apple replay. I don't use Spotify, but Apple Music has the replay. It's kind of a similar feature. And I listened to this song, I think it was like 58 times or something in 2024. So I obviously hit play on this album pretty frequently during the last year. But I love it how every instrument drops out and it's just the vocals and they all come in hard back into the chorus. Just great song construction, great start right out the gate.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with both of you guys. This is a great start to the album. I watched this, I didn't get through the whole thing, but I watched this interview with all of the bands, in this guy's basement, and they asked the whole band, when you wrote this, did you know this was going to be the first track? And they're like, yes, this was without a doubt going to be the first song on this record. It's self-deprecating generic pop punk, right? He's calling himself, I'm a useless doofus. I'm always confused. He's a dumbstruck dumb fuck. I love all that stuff. I think for me, the chorus what really gets me is these high notes that he hits. Before I surrender, and then he goes, I can't even try. Don't be so hollow. That part, I'm not gonna do it. I also like the line. He says, "These tees I borrowed, you'll never get them back," because they're borrowing T-shirts. I love how they several times throughout the song, in the verses, they're repeating the lyrics. Right? Do you like who you are? Do you like who you are? I'm all right if you are. I'm all right if you are. I think it just creates this awesome cadence behind it. And then, of course, it's got that slowed down bridge. There's those accentuated drums. I think this is the drummer. The drummer's name, I think, is Matt Powell's. And this is, I think, the first album that he's with them. So this is a new drummer for this record. I think he did a great job. So yeah, right off the bat, this is maybe one of the only songs that I heard before listening to it for the show, because Lad, when he said you got to listen to it, I probably put on a song or two, and I've heard this one a couple of times, and it's really good. I like the dumbstruck dumb fuck.
All right, let's go to the next song, and Lad, why don't you go ahead and sort yourself out on this one?
I'll do my best. Yeah. It's a big task, but I'll do my best. So I like this one. It's got a fast pace. The first couple of songs strike me as being relationship driven and maybe kind of angry. And this one still kind of has that angry tone of, buying flowers and it never works kind of thing. But it's enjoyable. There's a wonderful bass tone for those who happen to listen to bass or listen closely to that, especially in verse 2 and the bridge. But the bass tones throughout are just fantastic. They remind me of Mark Hoppus's bass tones, especially on the Take Off Your Pants and Jacket era, which that's the classic Mark Hoppus bass tone. So I love that he's kind of replicated that a bit.
They brought up that album several times in that interview.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense then. He also plays Jaguar basses just like Mark. So Fender Jaguars. So anyway, I love this one. I don't have a lot to say other than I just find it really enjoyable.
Yeah, somehow, I'm not going to say that the pace was slow on the first track, but somehow right at the beginning, this one picks the pace up. At least the way it starts, it's a total circle pit song. I feel like this is get everybody going. The chorus really punches you. This whole, I could buy her flowers, but it never fucking works. That's unfortunate, he's buying her flowers, but it's just like a loaded gun. He buys her flowers and then she's just mad at him and yelling at him. You're corrosive. Sort yourself out. I was just trying to do something nice and buy you flowers. Maybe he did something bad before that. I don't know. I also made a note about that verse 2 and the bass, which totally stands out. A lot of pace changing in this song. I feel like this might be quite exhausting to play. Lad, have you played this one on your Instagram channel or no?
I have not.
Yeah, this one seems like it would be exhausting. And I think my favorite fuck of the album is he said, and to be honest, it's not really much to do with fucking flowers. I love where he throws that one in because it doesn't punch you as hard as it does like in the chorus, but it's still effective. And I think my last thing would be just a piece of advice: don't drink Ben's kombucha because he will write a song about how you suck. So yeah, leave his kombucha alone.
So, the song aside, I just wanted to bring this up is that while giving flowers can be a lovely gesture, there are valid reasons why it might not always be the best choice for a gift. So I was thinking about this, and do people really want flowers when you buy them for them? Do they really care? Female or male, it doesn't matter either way. My answer to that is no. I don't see the point, but I wanted to back that up with some facts. So let me give you guys just a couple facts here. So number one, they have a short life. Flowers are temporary. They go away in just a few weeks. So what are you spending all that money for? You're not getting the value or utility out of them that you would like to see. They do spread potential allergies. So if you have allergies, you're going to sneeze a lot, and that's going to be uncomfortable. You got to take care of them. You got to fly. You got to water them. It's just like you're giving somebody a job to do. There's some environmental impacts. They can have significant ecological effects due to pesticide use, water consumption, and the carbon footprint. Guys, you got to wake up and think about these things before you spend that money. The expense over the value just isn't there. And sometimes they're perceived as impersonal. I could go on and on. There's a lot more on this list, but I think you guys get the point.
Are you
The song-
not a flower buyer, or you're just playing the field here?
No, I would prefer to buy something of more substance versus flowers. I mean,
Okay.
there's got to be something else, right? I don't even care if it's like a sandwich. Like I would buy somebody a sandwich over flowers.
Let me know how that works out for you on February 14th.
You don't think a nice sandwich would be a better gesture, something they can enjoy and eat versus something they just look at?
I mean, not as a gift.
I
You don't
think
think a
I
sandwich
think
is a gift?
I think I would hear about it if I presented a meatball sub on February 14th to my sweetheart. That's
Maybe
just me,
she-
though.
Maybe she doesn't like meatballs. I mean, there's other options, right? There's other options. You
That's
can give
true.
her a nice
How about-
pastrami or something. I don't know. There's other options.
How about you try it and let us know how it goes?
I do, and this song's pretty good. So we can move on to the next one.
Oh, okay. That's
Hey.
that's it.
No, I think you guys touched on everything. I mean, this falls into that, whole generic type overture that we talked about at the beginning. The theme is here for me. Like I enjoyed the song, but didn't really stick out to me as anything but a generic pop punk song. Not a bad thing, just that's what it is. So,
Fair enough. All right, I'll kick off. This is all my fault, and the main thing that I want to say about this is that the rhythm of this song, the bass of this song, the delivery of this song is complete Newfound Glory. Like Newfound Glory could do this exact song, and I would think that it's Newfound Glory. That's not a bad thing at all. But especially when we're talking about generic pop punk in that frame of mind. I think in this song, I like the verses better than I like the chorus. The chorus isn't bad, but it doesn't really have anything that really stood out to me. I don't know if it's like that number 3 heavyweight track maybe, but I thought it was still enjoyable. I like Newfound Glory, so I like the song.
maybe that's why I'm not as big of a fan of this one. It's just not my sound. I think that it starts off definitely not my sound. I don't hear it the way you do as the song starts out. I do enjoy it a little bit more when the tempo kind of picks up in the latter part of the first verse. I do think that the music, the guitar, it kind of, I don't know, it interacts or it impedes the lyrics. It doesn't feel like it fits perfectly to me. And they like kind of work against each other in my mind. So wasn't a big fan of that, how that kind of worked out. And I don't know, the chorus had some character to it, but even that it just wasn't enough to really give this song any kind of pick me up versus, what I've said so far. So I'm kind of middle of the road on this one. I don't really have an opinion either way. So, Lad, what did you think?
This is I somewhat agreed. It's a good song. I like it. It's more of a mid tempo, so it slows down just a little bit from the second track. There's some self blame, maybe even some self deprecation in there. I think it's solid, but not mind blowing. But I do sense a little bit of a theme with the album. This it starts out, at least lyrically, they start out kind of quite angry, bitter, kind of relationship driven, and now here reflecting on, okay, well, this is all my fault, and then it kind of goes. In my eyes, becomes a little bit more optimistic and hopeful as you get towards the end of the album. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, just something that kind of stood out to me. But this is still along that vein of kind of negative, angry, and getting that emotion out. But overall, I like it pretty well.
Also, that first line before we jump to conclusions, like that's a Newfound Glory line. Before we jump to conclusions about all the friends I had, just remember they were born that way.
That's true.
I got another one of those later, but we can put that in our pocket.
I think that's an interesting point, lad. And as we transition to the next song, we need more bricks. I'm thinking, like, is this the pinnacle of what you're talking about? Because this is pretty aggressive on this one.
Well, I think this song is saying something.
Yeah,
lad, you can kick this one off.
Oh, you want me to kick it off? Okay. Well,
yeah,
I think this one was released as a single well before the album came out. I think it could have been a hit single. I don't know about in the US, but maybe, overseas. I'm not as big of a lyric guy. Once in a while, they'll stand out to me. Lyrics like Bayside, they tend to catch my attention lyrically. And there's a couple of others, but I don't even know if I've looked at the full lyrics on this. I'm too busy listening to the guitar. The riff and the bridge is so good. It's very well executed. It's kind of dumpweed like, or it's around kind of the same key in the same spot on the fretboard kind of thing. So that's really what stood out to me. Just musically, I really enjoyed it, but I don't know what he's talking about on this one lyrically. So I'll lean on you guys for that.
Yeah, but I do like, I hear you, Steve, but I think the aggression here is definitely there. So you think about, the aggression here versus what was building in the last song. I do think there's a correlation. Maybe it's not the same message, but the aggression is definitely building song to song. That's my point.
I could see that. Yeah, this is a politically charged song, like all the way. If you read the lyric, even if you look at the video that they made for it, it's not even like, it's just like news clips kind of back and forth. It's all about politics, and I don't know exactly what politics he's talking about because I don't know the politics in the UK. I know the politics here in the US. I wouldn't think that he's talking about that, but even in that first in the first verse, he says, the rain on the parade will only soak the ballots. The kids are wide awake and they rage against the palace. Someone save us. Regardless of what it's talking about, I really like the chorus. We need more fight. We need more grit. We need more punks. We need more bricks. I think although we need mores, the cadence of that second half of the chorus and the ways in the beginning half of the chorus, really, really good. I thought the guitars to me sounded simple but infectious. Like these riffs just sounded really, really cool. Overall, again, I think if you read the lyrics and you think about it, it's a song that's saying something, but it's also a song where you could not pay attention to the lyrics at all and just like nod your head along and keep going and enjoy it.
That's me. That's what I do. I thoroughly enjoy this track, and not for the message. Nothing against Wales and political turmoil that's out there. And by the way, I looked it up. So Wales has recently experienced significant political upheaval marked by leadership crisis, public dissatisfaction with public services, and shifting party dynamics. So yes, there are some things going on, and it was in 2024 that this all happened. There's probably a lot more to the story that I'm not going to mention, but I'm not here for that. I've been very vocal about the fact that I don't really need to have my politics in my music. And for this song, I'm all about the music. I love the aggressive, fast-paced nature of the song, not necessarily because it's fast-paced, but because, it's chunky in some ways. It's fast-paced, hard driving. There's a lot of good things here. So I think this one kind of gets me going, and it's the theme and the tempo that really kind of sticks out so far on the album. So I was a fan on this one.
All right. Well, I think this is the next one, Heartbreak of the Century. This is the number one stream song by far, and that could be for a couple of reasons. It could be because it was the first song that they released. So this song came out in February of 2023, so that's almost a full year before the rest of the album came out. it could also be because it's just a classic kick-ass pop punk heartbreak song. And regardless, before I even go into the song, did any of you guys watch the video?
I
No.
saw I saw when it first came out. I can't remember a whole lot about it. It seems like they were in suits and there was a red curtain like on a stage. I don't remember too much about it.
So I watched it today, and it's funny because the Golden Globes were on last night, and I watched that. And so the whole video, the concept of the video is that they're at this award show, and the award they're giving away this award. An award is being given away for the heartbreak of the year, Heartbreak Award, and they announce the nominees over the music, and they play like fake movie clips that all have funny names, and they're like 3-4 second clips of them acting out these things. So there was the nominees for the Heartbreak Award are the movie The Scrapbook. So that then there's a little odd to the Notebook. There's Gold Linings Playbook. There's Remembering Sarah Marshall with a somewhat nudish scene. There's 420 Days of Summer. So for you 420 people, you know what that means. And then the last nominee is Neck Deep. And spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear how this ends, you can hit pause and go watch the video and come back. But the way that so they win the award, and then someone from the crowd goes up on stage and smacks them in the face, a la Will Smith, and says in a Welsh accent, "Keep my band's name out your fucking mouth." And it's a pretty good video. I like the whole concept. They're like most of the people. Like they're in different outfits and doing all this stuff. So I would encourage you to take the 4 minutes and go watch that video. It's really good. And overall, this song is just really good. It is a classic kick-ass pop punk heartbreak song. It's got a great bridge, but the whole thing is just super fun. And that's where I'll end my spiel.
Yeah, go ahead, lad.
Yeah, this one I agree with you there. It's definitely got. It doesn't surprise me that it has the most streams. Obviously, it was released as a single, which I read somewhere recently that the single version is slightly different than the album version, but I haven't listened back to see. But I did. I remember hearing it when it first came out, and I was impressed with the song. Great guitar riff in it. The bass tone in the breakdown is really gnarly. Just sounds fantastic, and overall, fun listen. I'm going to go back and watch that video again too.
So I looked it up for you, lad, because I am really good. I'm basically the fact and financial guy of the High School Never Ends podcast, and this time it's going to be facts. Okay, so facts. The mix in production on the single version. So this version features prominent vocals and a clear bass line delivering a crisp and energetic pop punk sound. And the album version, the vocals are slightly toned down and the bass line is less pronounced, resulting in a more balanced and cohesive sound within the album's context. So there you go.
Look at that.
There you go. In case you were wondering.
Awesome.
So many great facts, Steve. Aren't you glad that I'm here to do that?
You're a good fact checker.
Fact and financial.
I don't know about the financial part, but definitely the facts.
Well, we could talk about that another time, but big intro on this one. This one is really big when it comes to the music. It's maybe one of the best choruses on the entire album. I thought the lyrical cadence or the way it was delivered was a highlight. I'm a sucker for different ways to sing. And they do this fast word by word delivery that Ben does. It's really cool. It's really cool. So listen to the song if you haven't yet. You'll see what I'm talking about. And then it does have I guess maybe not even a bass solo, a bass interlude, something like that I thought was cool too. So a lot of just specific points that I thought were worth talking about on this one. But it definitely is a total package, and I think it deserved to be there. It needed to be the first song off the album. I think it was definitely one to catch the attention of those that didn't necessarily know about the band prior to this, and I'm sure it roped a lot of people in. So I like this one.
All right. Maybe Go Outside is where it starts to get a little more positive. Chris, you want to start this one off?
Yeah, just a couple things on this. This again has that uniqueness when it comes to lyrical delivery. I have it written down as short burst verses. So kind of like short burst ways of phrasing things when you're singing. I don't know how else to say it, but if you listen to the music, you'll hear it based on what I'm talking about. And it's that unique direction on singing a line or singing multiple lines that I think give this song, the character that is what I want to listen to. So this song and the last song do something a little bit differently. It's not just straight up singing the lyrics on a sheet. It's doing something a little bit different. So I always like when the lyricist changes it up, and this is another one of those significant scenarios where they do that. So the only thing I'm not feeling on this particular track is the chorus. So even though it definitely fits the song, I think melodically it just didn't sound quite right, or it just didn't sound like something that could really add to the song. It kind of took away from it. So I felt like, it was a big high, but followed by somewhat of a low, which gave it a little bit of a medium, results, which again is fine. But I think this song could have been a little bit better had they done something a little bit different with the chorus. So that's where I'm at with this one.
Lad, what do you feel?
This one is interesting to me. And I can't quite put my finger on why, but it's one of my favorites. It might be because I say this to my kids all the time. Like they're stuck inside on their screens. It's like, go outside, go find some friends, go do something. But I think a lot of parents are in that boat. To me, I wrote down that it has a Wendy Clear vibe. From Enema of the State, Blink-182. That Wendy Clear it's a deep cut. It's like track 11, but there's just something about it that hits me right. And this is kind of like that in that sense. There's a great pick scrape going into the first chorus. Chris, thought you might have picked up on that too. The chorus, I see what you mean, Chris, in that it's a little bit. It's not the catchiest chorus out there, but the guitars are huge. Like musically, it sounds huge. So I like what they did there. There's a great bridge using octaves, classic pop punk technique. And then the drums kick up a bit for the outro. It goes from halftime to full time, and that helps it in that last verse. So I don't know what it is, just that the elements combined together make for a really solid track for me.
Yeah, I'll take parts of what both of you guys said. I really like the tune on this one. I kind of just really like how it goes. It might be the drum rhythm, or I guess the guitars. Put it all together. I agree that the chorus does not overwhelm me, but overall I still dig it. I said in the chorus says, "So I'm begging you to say my name." I don't know. Is that another Newfound Glory reference? Am I digging for gold here? I'm not sure. And Lad, to your point, and Chris, to your point. Chorus wasn't anything too crazy, but I feel like the bridge is a quite bit of an energy boost in this song. I really dug the bridge. I thought that was probably the best part of this song. And I agree. Go outside. Today was a snow day, so my daughter was outside the entire day, which was fantastic.
Is this about kids getting outside, or is this about something else?
I don't really know. I think it's like he wants to get outside, and
he says I should go out. Yeah, I should go outside, get some air. I think he's like trying to breathe and process things a little bit, but also I haven't done a deep dive on the lyrics. That's just my initial take.
You're probably right. It's not about kids getting outside. It's about, he just says that. And by the way, my kids did not go outside today, but they actually did have to do a virtual school day.
Oh,
so I'm glad they did not go outside because they weren't allowed to.
Our school district is like, last night, the snow started at 5 a.m. this morning, right? Yesterday at like 6 p.m., they called the day. And whatever the first snow day is, Chris, I think you had snow in Pittsburgh this year so far. Philly has not really had any. So this was the first one. I think the first one or two, they just cancel it. And then afterwards, it's virtual. But they just give up. They're like, oh, I think there's going to be snow. No school tomorrow.
You know what's going to suck, though, is tomorrow when I have to get in the car and drive, I have to wipe all the snow. I don't wipe all the snow off. I just turn on the windshield wipers.
Oh, you're one of those guys when you're on the highway and all the snow is hitting you?
It blows off, but it blows off eventually, so you don't need to worry about it. And you just turn the defrosters on full blast, and eventually it all melts. So I'm
a good Samaritan. I clean off the car completely before I go anywhere.
Actually, no, it's actually doing you a favor, because it feels like you're in a winter wonderland when you have that snowy mist coming at your car from in front of you. It feels
making
good.
me use my windshield wiper fluid.
Yeah, you feel like in the spirit. You're in the holiday spirit. You know what I mean?
Who's this dick who didn't clean off his car?
I mean, come on. Doesn't
That's what I
doesn't
say when
really.
people have snow coming off their cars completely in front of me.
Well,
To each their own.
anyway, I do it differently than that, so maybe it's a different thing. But I want to go to this next song. I'll kick this one off because I want to start this off with two words, and that's Tom DeLonge. And I wonder if these guys had talked to Tom DeLonge before putting this song together. Do you think there's any correlation with the views of Tom DeLonge and what does or doesn't exist, and the overall thematic of Take Me With You by Neck Deep? You guys think there's a correlation somewhere there?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if they've had private conversations that about aliens and UFOs and stuff like that. Again, I watched this like long form interview and they brought it up. I don't remember if he had said that he specifically had spoken with Tom about it, but they brought up aliens exist and Blink 182. And are you guys just trying to kind of do a Blink 182 aliens exist? And it's like kind of yeah.
Yeah.
They love that. So I do think that they do believe in aliens, and I also do. I think that there are aliens out there. So I like songs about aliens. But Lad, what do you think?
I like this one. It's maybe a little bit silly and maybe a little bit of a play off of Aliens Exist. Simple Plan did that too. But honestly, when he says "Take me with you when you go," I can't really blame him. Sometimes just the state of affairs with things going on, you think, you know what, maybe it would be nice to see another planet or somewhere in space. But overall, I think it's a fun song. The riff is kind of a classic pop punk arpeggio riff where the bass note rotates, but the upper notes kind of stay the same. Classic pop punk technique. And there's some keys sprinkled in there, they're especially prominent in the last chorus, but they're sprinkled in very tastefully. They add to the song. They add a nice element to it. So I like this one quite a bit. I think it's a fun listen. It's not a skip.
I do believe that something exists, but I do not believe they were ever here. I believe that they're billions and billions of light years away, and there's no way for any of that to get here. I don't know where they're at. I don't know what they look like. I don't know. But I'm with Tom on that one. But look, beside that, I'm here for the music, not for the aliens. And this chorus is definitely Blinkish. I hear a lot of Blink in the chorus with this one. A lot of ties, a lot of similarities. But the funny thing is the verse to me is not. The verse does not sound Blinkish to me. It sounds more something else, or Neck Deep, obviously. So I like that. I like the fact that they, in my mind, are taking cues from one band as a reference or as a influence for the chorus, but aren't necessarily using that for the entire song. Specifically, here the verse. And I think the whole charm in this one is in the theme and the video. I didn't watch the video, but I did see that loop that shows up on Spotify that I guess is part of the video. And I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm going to go back and check the video out. If there is one, I imagine there is.
I'll give you the video rundown when I chat.
Go for it.
Well, first off, I love UFO reference songs. Actually, today I was on, an app and I found, a thread about the fact that there were, certain UFO crashes and there were some dead aliens back in the 50s and 60s, and then there was a live alien, and the U.S. government met with them, and they were able to be in contact, and then there was a ship that was in good shape, and that the U.S. tried to fly it. I can't say that that's true or not true, but I read it and I was quite interested. The video is actually pretty awesome. The whole concept is that Ben gets abducted by aliens, and he ends up naked, and the alien wants to probe him, but the alien doesn't really know how to do that because it's like his first day on the abducting or whatever, and he basically becomes friends with Ben and goes to Earth and goes to punk rock shows, and hilarity ensues. So another video that I would probably recommend checking out. The chorus in this song is a banger. You're all right. Very Blink, very Aliens Exist reminiscent in soundish a little bit. In theme, of course, I like that they're referencing E.T. There's a line about, I need to know it's not a drone. Very, topical these days. Maybe they knew something was going on with these drones. I love the little like 3-line pre-chorus that changes each time and then goes directly into that chorus. Lad, you mentioned the synth in the background towards the end. There's also a little like a triangle or a xylophone or something. These like little nuances in this song that make it like a better song than Aliens Exist. Like I think Aliens Exist is a good song. I don't think it's a great song. I think this one is really well done with all these little nuances. So kind of taking that Blink influence, adding the neck deep sprinkles to it, and I think they did great. I loved it.
Wow, what a hot take. You're actually putting this above Aliens Exist. I would have never thought you would have done that.
Aliens Exist was never one of my favorite Blink songs. I mean, I like it for what it is. It's Tom and his character and his beliefs and that song, but it was never like one of my favorite Blink songs.
I'm going to have to listen to them again. I'll listen to them back to back. I don't know. I haven't formed my opinion yet. I'll have to do that. That's a good one, though. I think that's a good comparison. That's a good comparison. I don't think when I said that this song sounds Blinkish, it's that song specifically either. I'm thinking of something else. But you know me, Steve. I can never remember exactly what it is I think that things sound like. It just does. And I can prove it. I just can't tell you which song.
It does. He can prove it. He just can't prove it.
Yeah. It's out there. You just have to kind of realize that.
Is there anybody out there?
I'll give the initial thoughts on this next one. And the next one is they may not mean to, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I couldn't get that out because I could not read my rating, but that is a normalcy on this show. I cannot read my rating, ladies and gentlemen. It is not easy to read. I should sell one of these for $1, maybe 50 cents.
Should we put that on the Patreon?
5 cents?
Chris's notes for 50 cents.
Maybe they feel like I should pay them 5 cents to take it, but I just wanted somebody else to tell me if I'm right. So I will take a picture and sell that picture for free. So if you want to buy this for free, it's all yours.
Hit us up.
But look, I mean, this is a Pop Punk Dad podcast, and we have to take this song with a grain of salt. I think there's a lot of tongue in cheek here. I think there's tongue in cheek here. I think that it's a parody. It's a satire. It's not necessarily making fun of us as parents. I do think so. This song is all about, the fact that, parents do things and eventually they, the decisions they make is basically screw the kids up or make them as messed up as they are. That's kind of the message here. But, I don't know if necessarily it's a negative. It could be just, pick up the same tendencies they have or however you want to take it. But
Chris, it's kind of funny that like you'd think that when we listen to this, we would think of it as we're the kids. But now when we listen to this, we think of we're the parents. Go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. Like we are, we've been the parents for a long time, and it's hard not to think that way. But I don't want to take it as a negative. I want to take it as, them just kind of playing around, having fun, saying this stuff because it's just cool. And I also want to see it from the other perspective. Like, look, if I was a kid, if I was 18 years old, 21 years old, didn't have any kids, like, yeah, this would be like something to sing. Like, of course, you have fun, you think about it, you sing it. Not a big deal then. But yes, it's funny how perspectives change as we get older and actually have kids of our own. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job, honestly. I think so. I don't know. Ask my kids, they'll tell you.
You got a daughter in college. You're doing well. The other two are in good shape, I believe.
I think so.
Send
they don't
me over
like
their
pop
report
punk
cards.
though. They do not like pop punk music, so I don't know where I went wrong there. But
that's not a bad thing,
dude. My oldest daughter loves how, and I look. I don't want to make it too much of a departure, but I texted Wingman Steve during New Year's Eve. Literally 90% of all the acts that were on New Year's Eve were country artists.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible? In the year 2024, has country music taken over pop music completely?
That's why I didn't watch it.
Yeah, man, I was dumbfounded. Anyway, what did you guys think about this song, or did you have additional thoughts?
Lad, you can go ahead.
I see where you're coming from there. Like, what parent can't relate to this? Like I viewed this as the parent. I didn't think about myself and my parents. I picture myself and my kids and what are they going to say? But I think we all can relate to it in that we all do our best, but we fall short sometimes.
Yeah.
And then as you become a parent, you become more forgiving of anything of your own parents when you realize how things actually work and how there's no instruction manual. I know, but I think they could have added a subtitle to this based on the tone of it. They may not mean to, but they do. And I think they could have added in parentheses, and that's okay. Like I get the feeling from the tone of like, yeah, they don't mean to screw you up, but they do. But everybody does, and we're all screwed up, and it's okay. And they're still right about a lot of things. I don't know. That's me kind of narrating the subtext to it. But I tell you what I love about this song. It has the best guitar solo on the album. It mostly follows the vocal melody, not like note for note, but it's pretty similar to the vocal melody, just with some tweaks thrown in. But it just works really well. It fits really well in the context of the song. And for me, this is when the album starts to turn more optimistic, I think, and as it transitions into the end of it. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I still kind of listen to this from the kid's perspective. When I was listening to this, I'm thinking about, yeah, my parents, they fucked me up. I wasn't really thinking about what I'm doing and, you know, my daughter and stuff like that. But anyways, the song itself, kind of pop punk mixed with like, I don't know, this like 60s kind of surfer vibe. I'm always down for a parents fucked us up song. I always like these. And honestly, looking and listening to the lyrics though, I think it's endearing because he says a lot of things in here that give both perspectives. It says that your parents fuck you up, but there's also like a lot of gratitude snuck in here, you know, and though we'd fight, I know they were right. They were right. Really good lyrics here. You know, did they love you too much or was it not enough? You know, they're not to blame because we're all fucked up. You know, I think that there really are both perspectives in this song. It's just that the chorus is really, you know, they fuck you up, your parents do. So that's kind of what gets remembered if you're listening to this song without diving too deep. Overall, I think I really like this one, and I liked all the perspectives, and I don't think that it's too negative. I think that it's somewhat tongue-in-cheek, and it's no life as a salesman from Yellow Card with the gratitude towards the dad, but I think there's some good stuff mixed in here.
Yeah. Good stuff. But wait a minute. So I had a thought. Isn't it fun to think about, like you say that there's a potential that parents could have fucked you up, but if they would have made different choices based on what you think those decisions were that could have influenced you to be that way, if they would have gone the opposite route, do you feel like you would have turned out the same way that you are today, or would you be someone completely different?
This is like a nature versus nurture commentary here.
I don't know. No, I'm just thinking about
parallel universe type of question. Like, because you can't ever experience it both ways, you know, like you can't experience it the way you did it and then also experience it the other way because you can't go back and have a do-over. So it's interesting. Thought.
I'm thinking about like for my two paths ending up in the same place scenario where it doesn't matter. And I guess that is parallel universe, but it's coming to a crux of the same outcome no matter what. So no matter what path you're taking, your life is always going to come to this pinnacle where you're at today. You're just doing different things to get there. And I don't know if I believe or not believe that, but it's something to think about because really what really would have made a difference based on things that happened to you that your parents had influence over that would have changed things. Like, Steve, would you be an admiral in the Navy? Would you be the president of Wales at this point in time if, you know, they would have taken you to Burger King that one time you really wanted Burger King because of the toy and the Happy Meal, but they said no, you can't have that? That changed it all. And that means you're never going to be the admiral in the Navy that you wanted to be because you didn't get that Muppet Baby toy.
I don't know if Wales has a president either. I'm not positive about that.
Listen, I'm just saying, like, you got to think about this from different perspectives. And, you know, Wales' political structure has nothing to do with this conversation. I'm just saying. Something to think about. I'd like for everybody out there in the chat to maybe think about it too. Let us know what you think in the Discord. And if you're not on the Discord, you should be, because that's the best way to have a conversation with us about this. That said, let's go to the next song.
Chris, keep it going. It won't be like this forever.
Yeah, I dig this tune, guys. I'm not allowed to say the B word anymore. I think I've used up my allocation of the B word.
It's a new year.
I thought I used it up. I thought
Oh,
for 2025, I've already used it up.
oh, okay. Come up with
I
another
thought
word.
we identified this. I think I used it 3 times in one episode.
It was the Bayside episode, so
It was worth it because it was Bayside, but I think that's also a self-imposed restriction, right?
This song is definitely an anger. That's a bead anger. I'm just trying. I'm trying. I don't know. That's not
this
funny.
song would go well with MASH.
I'm not even going to say that's funny. Don't laugh at that, everybody. Please do not laugh at that because that was
Nobody did.
terrible. So I dig this tune. The melody here is definitely on point. It's funny again. Like there's nothing outstanding here. There's nothing outstanding. It's not like it has this huge build or great crescendo or amazing solo. It just does everything right. It just the song brings this repetitive sing-songy cadence together in a way that works in unison, that works in harmony, that makes you, it's an earworm in a lot of ways. It makes you want to sing. I'm a sucker. I think I've become more of a sucker for like a good melody. I mean, not that that's unique. Probably 90% of the population feels the same way. But I always felt like before I was one that I maybe gravitated the other way. But I'll tell you what, I feel like nowadays I like to have a better melody, and the song gives that to me. So I really enjoy that, and I think it also has some really fun guitar effects too. So that brings in some character to it as well. So overall, again, this is a fun song that I really got into in the latter part of the album. That definitely uplifting, definitely fun, and definitely not downtrodden like maybe earlier in the episode. To your point, lad. So, what did you guys think about this track? About this track?
I'll pop in here. I think that if there was a song on this record that could, if it was like 2004 and they could put out a single that could pop open into like pop radio, I think it would be this one. I think that this one could work on pop radio in the early 2000s. And, it starts kind of slow. Like I've been waiting for the ballad. I love the song December, right? I'm waiting for the ballad. It starts slow. Oh, here's the ballad, but it's a fake out because I don't really think that this is a ballad. Like maybe you could categorize it that way. I love the cadence in the chorus, throwing in those forevers like real quick at the end of the line. Won't be like this forever. Won't like just popping those in there at the end. In the second verse, he's coming up with words that I don't think I've ever heard. On Monday, I am the rain and you are the petrichor. Petrichor is, for those that were wondering, a pleasant smell after rain. And then the next line is, oh, don't be so solipsistic. So I didn't know what solipsistic meant, but apparently it means self-centered. So you learn a lot of things here on High School Never Ends. To end my chat and my real love for this song, actually, the end has these real fast like spit lyrics, and they're totally awesome. And I think overall, this is stuck here at number 9 is a banger. I didn't make any New Year's resolutions. I will say it.
I'm going to agree with you both full force on this one. This is a beautiful song. Something about it is just beautiful. It made my top 5 songs of 2024 on Apple Music Replay, so I obviously listened to it a lot. There were a couple of times that actually made me emotional listening to it, just thinking about temporary difficult times, etc., whatever they might be. There's a great guitar lead. Again, it largely follows the vocal melody, but it just works because it's a different instrument. It adds something different to it. Great bass tone, again, through the whole album. I noted that kind of rap thing that he does towards the end with the vocals just nonstop. That surprised me, but it worked really, really well. And to me, it's just, this is another optimistic song. This is kind of crescendoing from anger and bitterness and frustration towards becoming more pensive and considering everything, and now flexing more towards a little bit more of an optimistic tone. So I really love this one.
There is also a video for this one. I wouldn't say that it is as entertaining as the other two that we chatted. It's kind of Ben sitting on the roof of his house, throwing paper airplanes all over the place. And, eventually one makes it to the girl's house across town. And so on and so forth. You can watch. Probably my out of the 3 videos, my third favorite, but song very good.
So before we get to the last song, I want to throw this in as a little fun fact in discussion. So I don't know if you guys ever saw this performance, but we brought it up pretty much every time we talk about Neck Deep, and I'll bring it up again. So for one of the first times I ever saw this band perform was on a YouTube video, and it was the 2016 Alternative Press Music Awards, and it's where they did a medley, and they brought out different lead singers to sing parts of that medley, and some of the medley were their own songs too. One of those songs being December, and for that song, they brought out lead singer of Dashboard Confessional, Chris Carrabba. Correct?
Yes, sir. I actually watched it again today.
Now the funny thing is that I typed into ChatGPT, lead singer of Dashboard Confessional forgets lyrics to December. And it gave me this. It says, there is no widely documented instance of Chris Carrabba, lead singer of Dashboard Confessional, forgetting the lyrics to Neck Deep's song December. Blah, 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 blah. It says, however, it's worth noting that during live performances, artists may occasionally forget lyrics. Whatever. So I typed in research again, and it spit out the same thing. It says there is no documented instance. So it does not want to recognize the fact that he literally forgot the lyrics and was singing the wrong lyrics. Now, did he stop singing, or was he just singing different lyrics?
Some of the lyrics are wrong, and then there was a part where he was supposed to come in where he didn't come in, and so Ben hopped on the mic to save him a little bit, and then he did hop in.
It was still pretty good, though, right?
I mean, that song is just so good. And when Chris, so there's a version of that song where Chris is singing, it's recorded, it's on, Apple Music and Spotify and stuff. It sounds very good.
But my point again is, and if you're just listening to us talk about this for the first time and you've never seen this performance, please go check this out, because this was an awesome medley with some really cool songs. A lot of them, again, were covers. I think they did Welcome to Paradise. The guy from State Champs, which was part of the reasons why I really fell in love with State Champs, was his performance during one of I forget which one it was. It might have been Welcome to Paradise, but I can't remember.
It was Dear Maria.
Yeah, it was Dear Maria. He just crushed it. What's that guy's first name again?
Derek,
yeah. He was amazing during that one. So he's amazing anyway, but I really enjoyed that. But anyway, I just want to throw that in there before we get to the end of the episode, because it was just something that stuck out to me. And yeah, Carrabba he didn't care. He was cool, but it was still a great performance of that song December. So cool stuff. Now, if you guys want to wrap it up, you're welcome to do so. I'm done.
Moody Weirdo, Lad, Punkish Dad.
Yeah. So this one, I don't have a lot of notes on it. Again, it feels kind of optimistic to me, resolving with, don't fight the change, whether that's a change within yourself or a change happening in life. I love the way that it just kind of ends. The chord progression doesn't end. It's kind of an unresolved ending. And a lot of times bands do that on purpose. It kind of leaves like a little bit of a cliffhanger, and it's kind of a good way to end an album. I like that. And in the bridge, there's the bass tone. He adds a chorus pedal to it, and it just sounds really delicious. Just loved that. So overall, I liked this one. Good closer.
Yeah, just a couple notes for me. The beginning, and Chris, you mentioned this earlier in the episode, I think, something about the last one, that, the first verse is very kind of like esoteric. Like, he's just saying concepts and things. He's not really saying full sentences. By the time you get to the chorus, I really, really like this chorus. It really hits. And he gets into a little bit more explanation on verse 2. It's not just these kind of random things. Towards the end, he's doing sentences. And then into chorus 3, there's the total stop of the entire song. And then he blasts right back into it, which I thought was really good. So I liked Moody Weirdo. I thought it was a good way to end the album.
I agree. I thought this was a great song. There are so many good things here. Steve mentioned a lot of them, but that vocal distortion I thought was really cool too. A really cool effect that added to the song itself. The guitar and the melody here was on point. I love the tempo of the song too. Like, everything about this was exactly what I was hoping for in a song from Neck Deep, and they were able to deliver. And it was a little bit different, right? So it's okay though. One of the things they say though is hackles up. Do you guys know what hackles up means?
What is it?
You never heard of that?
I don't think so.
So it basically comes from animals. So raised hackles signal heightened emotion, fear, aggression, or arousal. But metaphorically, when someone has their hackles up, it means they're agitated or on edge. So he says what he says. I had the lyrics here. It says, inner child, defensive trap, fighting back your siege, skinny cat, hackles up, biting hands that feed, so on and so forth. So it probably fits there, which those are a lot of aggressive things, lad. So I don't know. Is this one a little bit less aggressive?
It's well, I haven't sat down and looked through all the lyrics, but to me, I guess I just get kind of a vibe based on some of the things he says. And you got to take one small step every day.
Yeah.
Don't fight the change, kind of thing. I kind of see it as him growing and moving on into a new phase after
Yeah.
moving through the process.
Yeah, maybe he's reflecting on all of that anger and rage and then basically saying, hey man, relax. Like you're a moody weirdo. Like just be cool.
Yeah.
Just be cool.
Just be cool. All right, before we get to the good stuff, I have a little game here to play, and it's the set list game. It's the set list game, and I'm going to give you guys two options. Okay, we're going to go. I have two different set lists that we're going to talk about. We're going to try and guess what songs off this album made the set list. Option number one is we can do the set list from the Dumbstruck Dumbfuck tour, where they did 18 total songs. The option number two is we're going to do their last show, which is from November of 2024, where they only did 10 songs. So, Lad, as the guest, you can pick what setlist game are we going to play.
Both of those sound fun. Let's try the Dumbstruck tour, though.
Okay, so the question is, on the Dumbstruck Dumbfuck tour, where they played 18 total songs, I'm just going to give you a higher or lower. Did they play more or less than 5 songs off this album? Chris.
How many songs total did they play?
18 songs that night. And they have 5 full albums. Just put all the information out there.
You want to know if it's more or less than 5 tracks off this album?
Off this album, yeah.
Less.
Okay, Lad, what do you think?
5 seems like a lot. I'm going to say 6.
Okay, well, they actually played 7 songs
Wow.
out of their 18 off of this album. So only 3 songs did not make the set list. So this should be a real easy.
Man.
This should be a real easy way to guess. There's only 3. So I'm gonna just say there's only 2 strikes. Okay, because so you can each maybe get 1 wrong. That's it.
Now
So
I'm mad I missed that tour. Now they did come through Milwaukee, but I couldn't get there. It was like on a Tuesday.
I didn't know that I liked them back then. I'm so mad. I hope they come back to the US soon. So all right, let's see if you guys can name the 7 songs that they played on that show. And only 2 strikes because there's only 3 wrong answers. So Lad, you kick this off.
I'm going to say Dumbstruck.
Okay, that is correct.
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak of the Century. Yes, that's the single. Good one.
We Need More Bricks.
We Need More Bricks. Check. Correct.
Take Me With You.
Take Me With You is also correct.
Go Outside.
Go Outside. Correct. So we have 2 songs they played and 3 songs they did not play left.
Whose turn is it?
It's mine.
Chris.
I'm thinking
Okay.
It Won't Be Like This Forever.
That is correct.
Ooh, now it's getting tricky.
Do you want me to tell you the ones that are left?
Yeah.
No, I think I got them. Sort Yourself Out.
Dude, you guys got all 7 of them without a wrong answer. They did not play This Is All My Fault. They did not play They May Not Mean To, But They Do. And they did not play Moody Weirdo.
Nice.
How about that?
I can't believe they played 7 songs. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing because this is a good album, but people go to these shows not just to listen to new stuff. They go to listen to a lot of stuff. And so if you're doing that, you're not giving much of a nod to the existing other 4 albums they have, right? Because it's 5 total. So there's a lot of music that they would not have played based on this. They
Yeah,
must have really wanted to promote this.
they were pushing it. Well, they didn't get to tour on their last record because it came out in 2020. So I guess they wanted to push this one hard.
Do you guys get upset? Not upset. I think that's the wrong word, but when you go to watch a band that put out a new album, like, do you really? And be honest. I mean, I don't give a political answer, but do you really deep down want to hear just a few new songs and mostly songs that they already had out that you're familiar with?
For me, it depends on how much I like the album. Like the new Blink album, I wish they would have played more off the new album because I really enjoyed it. But then there are other times where it's like, yeah, the new album wasn't as good. I'd rather hear the classics. So kind of depends. But most of the time, if I like the new album and I'm there to see the show, I don't mind seeing some new stuff.
Even if you really didn't listen to it a lot, like not yet. Let's say it was an album you just got and you really haven't gotten too far into it. You want to hear them play songs you're not as familiar with?
I want to hear a few if I'm not as familiar or if I didn't like it as much. But like Less Than Jake, when I saw them, I think they had an album in 2020. They only played like 2 songs off of that newest album at the time. And I think that was okay because for them, I wanted to hear more of the classics and I didn't like the new one as much. It was fine. But in the case of like Blink, I wanted to hear quite a few of the new songs. Or like with Neck Deep, now I'm pretty mad I didn't go to that show, but because I love this album and would have liked to hear 7 of those songs live. But
Steve, how about
I
you?
think I somewhat agree that it depends, but I think that this is about 40% of their set was new. I can't say that I would have been upset in this occasion, but I think most of the time I probably want to hear like 3-4 new songs. I agree with Lad. I would have liked to hear more One More Time stuff, but most of the time, maybe not as heavy. But I would have been happy with this because I like this.
It's a good game. So good for you, Steve. I feel like, you
Good for
really
you guys.
you really caught on to something here with the setlist game. I do feel though we have to retool a little bit because it is a little bit too close to the other game and it might be overshadowing just a little bit. So we'll talk about it.
It has nothing to do with the other game, but the
We'll
other
talk
game
about
doesn't
spacing.
always work like with a new album.
We'll just talk about it. We'll have a conversation.
We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk offline.
We'll talk offline.
About spacing
We'll circle back.
Maybe we do the setlist game every 4th show. We'll do that. We'll do.
Do I ever try and squash your game?
We'll
eliminate it from shows? That is rude.
We'll figure something else out.
Quite rude
for everybody here. So everybody. You're
just upset because I came up with a simple name for my game.
So everybody has a seat at the table.
Easy to understand parameters.
I'm all about the audience and what they want to hear. I want to give them the best content as possible. So I'm all about making a decision that makes the most sense for them. And that's what I'm trying to do when I tell you this.
Thank you.
I just want to have a conversation.
Thank you for them.
Okay. I really feel that way. So I do down deep here. Lad knows what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Well, that said, let's play another game, guys. This game is a game I like to call Ranking It. You may not have heard of this game before. I know for a fact that no other shows, no other podcasts, YouTube videos, anywhere out there do anything like this at all. So if you're interested in hearing ranked songs, this is the podcast to come to. Right?
It's the place to be.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, for all of you out there that never really experienced the Ranking It before, it's super simple. We rank our top 3 favorite tracks on the album that we're talking about today. If we're talking about an album, which today we are, the album we're talking about is Neck Deep's titular self-titled album, Neck Deep, from 2024. And Lad, since you are today's guest, you should kick us off with your top 3 in order. 3, 2, 1. The floor is yours.
All right. I'm going to go with number 3, Go Outside. Again, I don't know exactly what it is, just something about it works. And I look forward to hearing that song every single time the album plays. So that's number 3. Number 2, It Won't Be Like This Forever, for the reasons that I articulated already. I think that's a beautiful song. And number 1 is Dumbstruck. It just gets me stoked every single time that first chorus hits, and they just absolutely nailed it. Great opening track.
All right, I'm gonna go next, and you know what, lad? Like, I feel like we're somewhat on the same page. So I'm gonna go Dumbstruck at number 3, and edging that one out. This is tough. I'm gonna go Heartbreak of the Century, and then shit, I'm gonna take that one back. I'm taking the it's no, it's incorrect. So this is the first time ever I've done that. So I get one mulligan. Go Take Me With You is number 2, and then It Won't Be Like This Forever's number 1. That's my top 3. Sorry, Heartbreak of the Century. I really, really wanted to put you in there, but I really like Take Me With You better. So, Steve.
This was kind of hard for me. Out of the 10 songs, I had stars next to 7 of them, Chris. Stars. I had stars. So it was kind of hard, but I did it. And, you know, I'm sticking to the rules this evening. And my list is very similar to yours, Mr. 183. Number 3, I'm going with Heartbreak of the Century. Number 2 is Take Me With You. Good UFO song, just like you. And Chris, just like you, number 1 is It Won't Be Like This Forever. And Lad, you had that at number 2. So I think we all collectively might give that as the best song on the album.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I hope all of you enjoy that, because it definitely won't be like this forever for us to agree like we just did. It
True.
Rarely happens. Steve, how come you didn't have an honorable mention? I'm totally okay with that.
It's a new year. It's a clean slate. Okay, fine. Honorable mention is Dumbstruck Dumbfuck. Since you forced me into it.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Well, guys, we did it. We got to, this is a short album, right? 33 odd minutes, some change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Only 10 songs. Let me see.
Yep, 33 minutes. Yeah.
That's fun. I think it's always fun when it's a shorter album. It hits differently, but I think the thing that we can kind of wrap this conversation up is, number 1, and we did get into this a little bit as we kind of introed this particular album, but did this one live up to your expectations of overall your Neck Deep fandom? But number 2, how does this album compare to the rest of the Neck Deep albums? So, Lad, why don't you go ahead and kick us off on this one? Like, first of all, how does this album compare up to the rest?
Sure. For me, I didn't go in with super high expectations because I had never really fallen in love with a Neck Deep album before. I'd enjoyed them, but I hadn't like really been swept off my feet. But boy, did this one do that for me. So it was, in my opinion, it's their best album. I think their second best is their 2020 album, All Distortions Are Intentional. And then in third place is kind of a tie for everything else. Everything else is pretty good, really. But it just didn't really sweep me off my feet like this one did. I feel like, you know, we said generic pop punk, and maybe it is generic, but it's generic done very well. I feel like Ben's vocal cadence has improved over time, and the song structure is just right. The production is good. They've settled into the best version of themselves thus far, in my opinion. And in fact, I would put this as my favorite album of 2024, and that's over the Bayside album, which was great, the Alkaline Trio album, which was great, the Green Day album, which was great, and the Blink Deluxe album, which I also really enjoyed. So this one took the cake for me in 2024.
Wow. Okay. That's bold. That's bold, but it's the truth, bro, lad. It's 100%. And I have some differing opinions, but I appreciate that for sure. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this out there. So Steve said it before. We have a hard time listening to things that aren't tied to the show. So for me, my Neck Deep fandom has been this album and Life's Not Out to Get You from 2015. That's my experience. Ladies and gentlemen, Life's Not Out to Get You is still a better album, in my opinion. I think it's better than this one. This one was good, but Life's Not Out to Get You was great. So I'm still on board with that one. I am excited to hear the rest of these, especially the ones that other people have mentioned or recommended. Lad, you called one out. Call that one out again that you thought was one of your favorites.
It's called All Distortions Are Intentional, and it came out during the pandemic, 2020. So
Yep.
I didn't really get to tour it, but I like that one quite a bit.
I'm going to check that one out next to see what all the hoopla is about. But for right now, that's where I'm sticking. Now, and I did have a follow-up question, but I think I jumped the gun. So, Steve, why don't you answer the question about where this one ranks up, and then we'll get to that last one.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I haven't listened to all of these albums. I certainly should, based upon how I like the 2 albums that I've listened to. This album is awesome. It is really, really good. But Life's Not Out to Get You is just a little bit awesomer. Same thing that you said. That one stuck with me. That's nothing against this album, but 2 really strong albums. I should probably listen to the other 3.
And I think you did answer this, lad. So I'll ask you again, Steve. Like, did this one live up to your expectation of your neck deep fandom when you listened to it?
I think not the first listen, but after listen like 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, it's basically Punkish Dad's expectation that he set for me. So yeah, upon first listen, I wasn't like, oh my God, this is a very good album. But when I kept listening to it, I'm like, damn, this is awesome.
Yeah. I think I need more listens. I got about, 4 or 5. I need more listens. I think this one can grow on me. Once again, I wasn't swayed in the direction of like, oh man. It was more like, okay, all right, pretty decent. But I think that can grow because I like their sound. I like what they do. I like what they do melodically. I love the guitar. I like their style. And I think that this goes a little bit different than what Life's Not Out to Get You, the direction that one goes in some ways. I think that the melodies in that one's a little bit more defined than this one is. But they do some really cool stuff here. I think we talked about all that today. So while I'm still stuck on the 2015 album, today, let's see if that changes in the future.
I'll tell you what, listen to this one 4 or 5 more times and then loop back in the Discord and let us know if you're ranking it on the albums has stayed the same or not. I'd be curious. It might not. It might not change.
It might take me 6 months, lad, to do that.
That's all right.
6 months. I like that. It's, again, a lot of the albums that I really got into, I listened to over the course of years, but I'll do that for you and for everybody else out there. Give you my opinion. We'll see if it changes. But hey, guys, we did it. We got through Neck Deep's self-titled album. I love this. I love this mini-series. I think it's so much fun to talk about some of the best albums, in our opinion, from 2024. Well, maybe they are, right? We're just talking about ones that we picked out. Steve, I think we got more on the docket. We don't want to give that away, though.
We have several more. Yes.
Yes. We don't want to give anything away, so stay tuned. Tune in next week to hear what the next one is. And for all of you guys out there, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you think about the show, what you think about our opinions on this album or any other of the subject matters that we've chatted on High School Never Ends. And Lad just talked about it. You can get on our Discord server. You can have a great conversation with us tied to this, tied to anything pop punk. There's some awesome people on there having some awesome conversations about the music we love. Come join it. And if you just want to leave us a review, we love that too. Get on to Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Leave us a written review. On Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. Definitely helps the show. It helps me feel good about what we're doing. I'm sure it does for Steve too. And don't forget about our shop. We have some really cool stuff on there. Everything from hats to, well, it looks like I'm going to need a new mug, Steve, since I broke mine into 1,000 pieces. So I'm going to go pick myself up a brand new High School Never Ends mug because I need one.
Well, you can get it at hsnepod.com, like High School Never Ends Pod. You can also follow us on the socials there at hsnepod and join our Patreon. Each month, we actually give our patrons a heads up as to what our upcoming topics are going to be, and we have bonus episodes every month. So go to patreon.com/hsnepod. As Chris mentioned, we'll be back with another new from 2024 episode next week. Until then, keep on rocking your dad bods, throw up your rock hands, and blast the pop punk.
Internet! I'm Coy Jandro, a Bostonian who loves pop culture, comic books, and people. And I host Coycast. It's a podcast about all those things. If it fits in on a con floor, we talk about it on KoiCast. Myself and producer Jake do previews, reviews, deep dives, and tinfoil hat theories about everything from movies, TV, and the comic books themselves. I also like to dish out comic recommendations from my 100-plus pull list a week so you know what's best to buy. So join us, True Believer, on KoiCast.com or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now.
Dragon Wagon.